Welcome back to Inflection Point. I'm Kevin Connor, the CEO of the Retirement Planning Group, and I'm here today with my good buddy Tom Saboto, who's Director of Corporate Development. And Tom, I gotta be honest, we're gonna have a conversation today. We're gonna have the tough conversation today. And we're gonna talk about procrastination.
Oh, my favorite topic.
Yes, which you and I see rampantly in the industry when it comes to advisor practices. And we've talked, with other experts on our show. And so today, let's just start with, I'll pose a question to you. Why do you think so many advisors procrastinate when it comes to a succession plan, an exit plan, a continuity plan?
Well, I think it's fear of the unknown. It's, I don't have time to do this. I can wait, right? I'll do this tomorrow, right? It's the same thing like my son at home or my child, right? Can you do this today? Don't worry about it. I'll do it tomorrow. What happens tomorrow? You still didn't do it, right? Yep. So I think it's a combination of all of those things. And I think we as people always think, I have tomorrow, right? I can do this tomorrow. But things happen, right? Health issues come up, change of life, right? Things happen. Someone in your family is not well. You have a parent that you now have to go take care of in a completely different state. So I think procrastination I think of it as it's a killer, right? It really slows people down instead of doing the things that they should be doing.
Yeah, it's this nagging feeling in the back of your head as an advisor. I remember when we started the firm, we didn't really have any sort of continuity plan. And I just had this nagging feeling like, oh no, in the back of my head, but that's not going to happen to me. I don't need to deal with that. And, like you said, It's like, I'll do it tomorrow's turns into years later.
Well, it's like somebody waking up one day and then coming to you, and then you sitting there and you're going, well, what took you so long?
Yeah.
Right? Everyone else has been doing this before you. What took you so long?
Yeah. I think, the other thing, I think to be sensitive to the advisors out there, it feels scary to sit down and have to figure these things out. It's not fun for a couple hours. Okay, it's fun trying to win new business, thinking new services, inspiring your team. Those are fun things to be doing in your practice. So we tend to gravitate that direction. Well, what's not fun? Having these tough conversations. What's really not fun? When those conversations are had with me and a spouse. That's not fun at all.
No, not fun.
Because now I'm working with a spouse where Cetera brings a firm to the retirement planning group and says, this firm's in trouble. There's no real continuity plan. They never sat down and did anything. And now we're working with the spouse to try to figure out what can we salvage out of this. And that is not fun.
I think advisors need to follow some of their own advice that they give to their clients, right? If you wait too long, right, you're missing out on opportunity for your investments, right? They need to follow that same advice and say, how do I protect this business that I've built? So if the longer you wait, the greater the risk that you're not protecting that asset. So why not just rip the Band-Aid off, get to someone who can help you with this, and make sure that you put your plan in place that protects that asset?
It's 100%. And one of the things that Cetera does really well is they have legacy builder and succession sort of options already built in here. It's just a matter of sitting down and having the conversation with Dan Mays, who was just on
internally,
a previous podcast.
We have this down to a science.
Yeah.
We've got 12,000 advisors at Cetera, many of whom take advantage of this service that Cetera can provide to them. But as you know, there are a lot of people who are still procrastinating, and I want to keep harping on that word, but who are procrastinating that shouldn't be procrastinating. And maybe, I don't know, after COVID, I would have thought people would say, things change really quickly, so I
better be prepared.
I better be prepared.
Yeah.
I better be prepared.
It reminds me, there's two different types of, waiting too long to do something, right? There's waiting too long and then something happens and you have a problem. We'll talk about that in a second. There's also waiting too long in your career and your clients are getting older too, right? And all of a sudden there's some value metrics that start to be affected by that. We had an advisor that we were talking to that was interested in an exit plan, succession plan. And I remember
Kevin, isn't it a horrible feeling? I used to say, when you actually show up somewhere and you're expecting something and someone says, I'm sorry, but you waited too long.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Right? That's horrible.
Yeah.
Right? Then it finally hits home. It's like, yeah, well, why didn't I do this sooner? You're right, because I can't fix it now.
Yeah, it's over.
Right?
It's over. It's 100% over. So we're talking that one advisor I was just mentioning, he's 81. His succession plan, his succession plan is his 78-year-old partner.
78.
78.
Right.
And so that's not, not only that, but his average client age was around his age,
Yeah.
80. And so
Right.
the valuable asset that he's been creating over all these years is actually losing value a little bit every year because of the procrastination to do anything,
Right.
let alone he didn't have a strong succession plan in place with a partner that's basically his age, and his clients have gotten older. On the flip side, sadly for an advisor that did have a terminal illness and only, made it, lived another 14 weeks after diagnosis, he did, if you remember, he had a succession plan. And when I am working with that sort of scenario, and I've had it in some other external scenarios we can touch on in a minute. For him, though, I was getting a phone call from or checking in with his wife, who was at the hospital focused on him. And the alternative was if he hadn't put together, some sort of plan, and if he had procrastinated or waited too long, and that plan wasn't in place, and again, thankfully he had one, I was having the conversation with how are you doing and how is he doing? The other conversation I could have been having is trying to extract her out of that situation to see how we can still salvage some value out of the business, and what are we going to do with the staff?
Well,
what are we going to do with the
success
clients?
story of someone who didn't wait till the last minute.
Right, 100%.
Right? And I remember that one because obviously this advisor, this was a shock to him that
Yeah, he didn't get up that morning expecting to get this
didn't
news.
expect to hear this type of prognosis, right? But again, it's life, and we can't ignore what can happen in life.
12,000 Cetera advisors, these sort of phone calls are going to come in from time to time. Nobody's immune, from these sort of potential mishaps. It also happens externally. There's 3 different external RIA firms that were introduced to us where someone had some sort of last minute issue that popped up. And they were people.
And those are hard, right? And
Yeah.
those are really hard to pull together at the last minute when there's no plan in place.
None.
Right?
We're scrambling.
Everyone is scrambling. It's like a yard sale. It's like a fire sale, right? How do I serve all parties here? I've got someone who is terminally ill. How do I accomplish this and keep everyone happy, right? Including the customer,
Yep.
right? How do we prepare this customer for this ultimate demise of the person that they trusted for the last 10, 15, 20 years?
Yeah, as advisors and owners of firms, we owe it to our staff to have something in place. These people show up every day and give it their all to try to help out the clients. So we owe it to the clients too, to make sure we have plans in place to take care of these sort of scenarios that pop up. It's irresponsible to not. And lastly, we owe it to our families too, because I would much rather be having the conversation. I never want to have a conversation with a spouse whose spouse is also in the hospital fighting for their life. But I'd much rather have a conversation just checking in on how things are going versus trying to figure out what are the metrics and what are the valuations that we're going to be able to accomplish and what are the moving parts that we're trying to figure out in 7 days, 14 days. What are we trying to figure out? What do we have here? That's not fair to anybody, and it's a responsibility we have in this profession. You've talked about this before. We coach our clients.
Right. We coach our clients to do these things, but we don't heed our own advice, right? It's like, why not do it for yourself?
Yeah.
Again, think about it. You own a business. If you're an RIA, it's a business. It's either a state registered or SEC registered business,
Yep.
right? It's an asset. It's something you worked hard at building. And it's something that deserves to have a valuation at the end of the day.
That's
When
fair.
that time comes, hopefully it's something that you plan to do rather than the health issue that comes up, but it's worth something to someone else and you deserve to get paid for it. It's not just a financial service practice where you're saying, well, but it's I've been doing this for my client, right? It's a company.
Yep.
It's a company that is earning a profit.
Yep. You know, and whether it's a pure RIA firm or any investment firm, you know, what we need individuals to do that are running those and are responsible for them is we need them to get selfish. We need to get them to get super selfish for a handful of hours to pull all this together, to document it, put it on paper, because they owe it. They owe it to the client. The client's stuck with them for 20 years through thick and thin or longer, and the client is counting on this sort of thing already being in place. Imagine the shock and awe if they find out that there's nothing in place.
Sure.
I'm out twisting in the wind. I'm going to have to go Google my way into a new advisor. That advisor's family is going to get next to zero, or definitely not market value as a result of it.
Right.
And we don't want to be put in that position.
Yeah.
Right? I'd rather have clear roadmaps for every advisor.
Well, unfortunately, the world is not kind, right? It's
no.
We wish that it is, but it just simply is not, right? Yeah. It becomes it becomes feast or famine at some point, right? And so again, why not prepare yourself ahead of time, which is what I think every advisor should be doing. Prepare yourself ahead of time for the unlikely event of something happening, or for the event that you should earn the right to receive at the end of the career that you've put in on your time, right? On your time. Just like, as we know, any firm that is selling to you at the retirement planning group, you always tell them, you do not have to leave, right? But I'm going to help you have a much better life to prepare for when you're ready to leave. And if you want to stay with TRPG for 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, you're always saying, you're welcome to
choose your own
here,
adventure,
right?
Choose your own adventure. Yeah.
But you've monetized them already, right?
Yep.
They've gotten a great payoff, and they can continue doing something that they enjoy for as long as they want to.
I thank you, Tom, for saying that. I thank you for having this is somewhat of the difficult and needs to be a fairly stern conversation. So I'm going to turn to all of our listeners and those that are watching. And again, I'm an employee. You're either going to make you either make the decision or the decision is made for yourself. You've heard me say this before in previous podcasts. You make the decision or the decision is made for you. My experience in life is when decisions are made for me, those are the more difficult decisions to accept. And as I said a few minutes ago, this is the time to get selfish about your business and make sure that you've got continuity succession plans in place.
Exit strategy.
And an exit strategy in place. Because when you have that in place, you are empowered to move forward with your business and make great decisions on behalf of clients and staff. And so at Inflection Point, we really want to lean into the hard topics so that we can put you in a position to be the most successful in the future. And with that, we thank you for your time.
Thank you.